The conviction of journalist Frenchie May Cumpio and church worker Mariel Domiquil on fabricated charges of financing terrorism unmasks the Marcos administration's continuing efforts to criminalize dissent through a practice known as lawfare or the weaponization of the law to persecute activists and human rights defenders. Frenchie and Mariel were arrested on February 7, 2020, during an early morning military raid of their shared residence alongside the offices of progressive organizations in Tacloban City in the province of Leyte. Three other activists were arrested alongside them, and collectively they are known as the Tacloban Five. At the time of her arrest, Frenchie served as the executive director of the media organization Eastern Vista, where she reported on the real conditions of marginalized sectors in Eastern Visayas, which are often unreported or underreported. On the other hand, Mariel was a church worker with the nonprofit organization Rural Missionaries of the Philippines, working with rural communities affected by the lack of basic social services. They were arrested on trumped-up charges of illegal possession of firearms and explosives. On the night of their arrest, the military broke down the door to their boarding house and took the women outside. Then they searched the area and claimed to have found firearms, ammunition, and explosives. Over a year later, the two activists were charged with financing terrorism. After 6 years in pre-trial detention, Frenchie and Mariel were acquitted of the charges of illegal possession of firearms and explosives, but were convicted of financing terrorism. Both international and domestic press freedom advocates and human rights organizations denounced this as baseless, as there is no real money trail. This is also seen as an attack against press freedom, which creates a chilling effect in the country. As of November 2025, 163 political prisoners have been arrested under the Marcos Jr. administration, whose term began in July 2022. This is among other repressive tactics employed by the state, including harassment, coercion, surveillance, enforced disappearances, and extrajudicial killings. It is very clear now that the Marcos Jr. administration is intensifying its witch hunt against activists and progressives as the Filipino people continue to expose corruption, human rights violations, and government neglect. Progressive organizations are also calling to abolish the National Task Force to End Local Communist Armed Conflict, or the NTF-LCAC, which since its establishment in 2018 has been using taxpayer money to baselessly accuse critics and ordinary citizens of terrorism. The agency received an 8 billion peso budget for 2026, and that's 8 billion pesos that could be spent towards basic social services. As usual, I will put up keywords on the screen so you can stay updated on these cases yourself. I'm blind and I use a screen reader, and for some reason, I can't edit the caption. I used to be able to do it, but I can't anymore. Anyway, defend press freedom and free all political prisoners.